Barbershop's refusal to cut the hair of a man this weekend has caused an online backlash. The reason? He's transgender.
But the owner of the head shop barbershop says he isn't transphobic, and his decision not to cut the man's hair had nothing to do with him being trans. Tegan Verzolato explains.
For a transgender person, requesting something as simple as a haircut can be nerve-wracking.
I guess it's hard because I do get mistaken for female, I get mistaken for male, so it's very hard to cope with, I guess.
That's why 29-year-old Jordan Johnston, who's in the process of transitioning from a woman to a man, didn't feel comfortable identifying himself as transgender when he walked into the head shop barbershop yesterday.
The owner piped up and then he said, we don't do women's hair. And I was a little bit, I guess, shocked.
And after leaving the shop, he came back again to confront the owner, claiming it was only then he disclosed he was transgender.
I just said that this is discrimination if you don't take me. It's discrimination, I think, even if it's a woman that's going in there and getting refused, let alone a trans person.
Later posting about the experience on Facebook, it's now amassed hundreds of shares and comments, with public opinion split on who was in the right.
The head shop, Cedric speaking.
Cedric Small, the owner of the head shop barbershop, says he refused Johnston's service not because he's transgender, but because of an agreement with the salon next door.
I took her as a female, and because of our lease, I had to say we prefer not. It's a conflict of interest. There is a salon in this, and I gave my word that we wouldn't perform female services.
Small says he would never decline someone's service because they identify as transgender, and says over the years he's had a number of clients that are transgender.
I have friends that, they're going through the same thing, and I support them. This was never about being transgender or not being accepted. I couldn't imagine what that would be like.
And says he's sorry if his words caused Johnston any pain.
And it's not fair. It's not fair to her, to Jordan, for what she had to go through. I was unaware.
Adding that if Johnston wants to come back in for a buzz, he'd be happy to have him. Tegan Verzolato, CHCH
Story of a transgender
News.
man who was upset to be turned away from a Niagara area barbershop and told the stylists don't cut women's hair. Today, Lisa Hefner spoke to a salon owner originally from Hamilton who started a network of gender-free spaces for people who want to get styled without judgment.
23-year-old Orion Mayes started a video blog called Queer, Black, and Awkward when he began transitioning to male a couple of months ago. He was never turned away from a barbershop, but he needed to work up his courage to even walk in the door.
I'm always so anxious and nervous, and it always takes me a whole month before going to a barbershop. The barbers always feminize my cuts. I present as female, so the moment I walk into a barbershop full of guys, what they see is a female, and then the energy changes.
His research led him to Kristen Rankin, a Hamilton native whose East Toronto salon, Fuss, has always been a safe space for the LGBTQ+ community. But an experience with a transgender client a couple of years ago changed her perspective.
And about a day later, she tweeted it was the first time she had a haircut and felt like a woman. And so that was pretty profound. And at the same time, I was like, wow, that's terrible that she's 36 years old. And this is the first time she's feeling like a woman after getting a haircut.
Prices at Fuss are based on the length of your hair, not your gender.
So there's a lot of anxiety and fear built up before they even get into the salon. Never mind what happens next.
What happens next, she says, is usually discrimination, intended or not. That's why Rankin created a network of salons called the Dress Code Project.
You know that we're going to know how to use pronouns, and we'll talk about your hair, not your gender.
She says a haircut is the least expensive way to change a look.
Being able to finally look the way you have felt for a very long time.
It's silly, but it actually boosts my confidence. I walk more straighter, and I feel more attractive, and I feel more assured in myself.
One Hamilton salon is part of the network. Strut Salon on Walnut Street. I spoke to staff there today, and they say they love being part of a gender-neutral network. They too, here in Hamilton, have seen the need.